Take one coming in here from Megafang says, Dear John Superbeast, I recently bought and I'm currently going through Black Mesa. I've recently gotten to Zen. Shortly after arriving on the beautiful alien world, I eventually entered one of the science team's labs where the HEV suit encounter was kind of like, excuse me, a new type zombie wearing one of the suits, with the familiar voice glitch repeating the messages of the wearer's imminent demise. Despite being armed to the teeth at that point, these enemies stuck to me for being effectively creepy as an encounter because I was hearing the HEV suit voice that I'd grown familiar with, hearing it throughout the entire game. If you have one, what's your favorite detail like that, sound, visual, or mechanic, that gets turned against you later on in the game after familiarity?
The absolute best one that I can ever think of is I think it's like the 8th or 9th level in Dead Space 2, where Dead Space 1 takes place entirely on the USG Ishimura, which is a spaceship. It's a mining ship. And in Dead Space 2, you're on a separate space station, and it turns out that the USG Ishimura was recovered after Dead Space 1, and you have to go through it to get to the other side of the loading dock. And as a result, you go through like 3 or 4 very signature areas from the first game in which the ship has been cleaned up and repaired. Like there's white plastic everywhere, and you will hear noises of jump scares that used to be in Dead Space 1 but are no longer there, and you will expect them in the same location only to get sidelined. You get attacked by like hallucinatory versions of Dead Space 1 scares that no longer exist. Like, it's incredible. Like, it constantly fucks with your expectation of how things were.
That's awesome. That's pretty good.
It's the best part of the whole franchise.
So yeah, also, if I'm not mistaken, that's also the one where I think you told me about, like, there's a save room that fucks with you.
Dead Space 1 has has a bench that, like, the instant you go into the menu, it spawns an enemy behind you that will attack you when you come out of the bench. And it's like, it feels so unfair.
So a really good one is the press turn system in SMT4. The press turn system in SMT4, which is you're learning the ropes of how to keep the combo going in battle and how to fuck up enemies as you encounter them. And then the fucking boss starts doing it to you, and you're like, oh no!
And boy, do
they. Oh dear God. Wait, the enemies can use it too? That is a really fucking sobering ass moment where, you get fucking rocked by a mechanic that is like, this is universal. This
Minotaur is so for real. Oh my God.
This is how combat works in the world. This is not special to you. You ain't special. That one's great.
Undertale has one. Undertale has a lot, actually, but Undertale in particular has the boss that you attack and you miss, and it is the first time and only time you can miss. A mechanic that did not appear to exist, and they go, well, why? Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
RPG, right?
I mean, Undertale as a whole is all about this exact discussion, to be honest, right? Undertale does a whole lot of, like, subverting your expectations, essentially.
Oh, I have one. There is a DS RPG, and there's a 3DS port called Radiant Historia, which is fantastic. It's incredible. It's very Back to the Future time travel-y, where you're hopping between 2 timelines in order to, we can't get to this area because it's flooded in this timeline, and let's go to the other one, right? But you are able to change things. You are able to travel to and forth any time on that timeline to do side quests. So, lady will be sad that her husband died in the war, so you go back in time a couple days to make sure her husband doesn't die, that kind of thing, right? And then as you're going through the main quest, the plot starts to kind of fall apart and events start to not have a logical sequence. and it turns out that there is another character with the exact same timeline shenanigans that you have, and the back half of the game is consistently Back to the Future 2ing in front of each other to cause the right sequence of events to happen.
Okay, so what you're describing, like that exact feeling. Transistor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should probably go back. I have Transistor and Pyre sitting on my desktop right now because they're both games that I didn't finish, and Pyre I barely played, that I should really, 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 really go back and finish.
Man, yo, shout outs. I got the Supergiant collection of vinyl, the box that came with like all their soundtracks across, like I want to say maybe 12 vinyl fucking records. Like just beautiful, beautiful thing. They never stop crushing it, man. Transistor, dude. Oh, yeah. You know, the less said the better, but that game fucking crushes it. It crushes it. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I think this is something that the longer the, like what you described with like for example, where it's like over the course of different games, you know, in a way, like you kind of playing with those expectations is something that you can only do when a franchise has been with you for a long time, you know.
Yeah, the Dead Space one in particular, it's like you go back to the Ishimura and you go back to the areas where it got really bad and they're completely empty and nothing ever attacks you. And then you go into areas that were formerly harmless and they give you like a jump scare and you're like, haha, got me. And then like 100 dudes attack you and you're shit yourself.
So could you imagine how completely pointless the Shadow Moses section of MGS4 is if you never played?
I sure can.
One.
It's like a minute.
Like the entire magic of that moment is worthless if you never played that game.
Yeah. Haha, my head was a PS1 man, huh?
No,
Why?
not even that. Not even that. Like that's a joke that whatever. I'm talking about walking through the snow and getting to the lookout point, right? Yeah. Where you're like, wait, where is this go? What's happening here? Okay, I know what we're doing, but oh shit, because we set you a little further back and then it hits you all at once.
I really,
you know,
man,
I
fucking hate that sequence of the game.
That entire part is just nostalgia. There's nothing else going on.
All that stuff was great. I just wish there were soldiers instead of those fucking horrible ball creatures. Like I hated sneaking around those things.
I was high on fucking member berries when I was playing that section, so you know.
You know what?
I was liking it.
I don't know if this counts for the, like, you know, the system inverting on itself and weird details, but the new Prey game, the recent one, the one that looks just like System Shock, has a really cool mechanic in which the station is being inhabited by mimics, and the station security is obviously like attacking them because they're weird alien pieces of shit. And the upgrade materials are some kind of bullshit science that you have like basically figured out how to mine the pieces of shit to give yourself like new memories, so how to learn skills, right? But if you use it to give yourself new powers, like new mimic powers, there's a threshold that you pass, at which point station security views you as less than human and all the security on the ship turns on you. And it's like, yeah, so you want these cool mimic powers? Cool. You're close enough.
Are you given
that turrets? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that. Are you given a warning or does it just happen?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But like, there's a situation that I had where I went and got a ton of turrets and dragged them to my office so that my office was just like impenetrable with turrets. And had I stacked up like the wrong upgrades and became like a Typhon essentially to security, I would have walked back to my office and gotten lit up by my own turrets.
I'm thinking about how in Halo there's just all kinds of rampant irresponsible OSP going on. And it's like, could you imagine a world where like soldiers are just picking up these alien fucking guns and using them like no questions asked, and then like, you know, like, and why stop there? Why not put on some of their armor? Maybe their shields will be effective because hey, Master Chief has shields, we don't, right? And like, at what point are you just going to be like, oh, like friendly fire, I kind of shot in the direction of the alien weapons and didn't realize one of our boys picked him up? Irresponsible levels of OSP going on.
What is that? Does that shoot? Gimme. Does that truck have a gun? Give me the truck.
Which is why I'll also never forget in MGS4 when there's the there's the fucking automatic on the ground, and Snake fucking crawls up to it, grabs his knife, and has this really elaborate check for traps and tripwires before picking the gun up off the ground. Because at the end of the day, we've just gotten used to video games, shoot the guy, take his gun, reload. But that little cutscene shows you actually Snake is checking every single weapon that he picks up off the ground for traps or whatever the case is. Every single time. You're just not seeing it. So
you know what? I just thought of another one because I mean I mentioned Vanquish just a little bit ago because Vanquish is incredible. But Vanquish gives you a guy who can move super fast and can slow down time to almost nothing and aim and shoot. And then you get to like the first third and you see Bogey, and you slow down time to shoot him and he moves, and you're like, oh, Jesus, come on, and he really moves too. It's like Joe.
Oh yeah,
like
he reverse Jotaro's
starts
you
to move in the stop time.
Yeah, he reverse Jotaro's you like near instantly. Yeah, absolutely. And then it's like, well, figure it out, fucker.
And he can fly.
And
there's two of them. Oh my god, that game's incredible.
That seems unfair.
That seems really unfair.
Yeah. So, did you know that they're red, white, and blue?
No, that who is?
Sam's white, Bogey's red and blue.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I just assumed that was like a color scheme, color theory thing.
What a mystery.
All right, we're never going to get a follow up on those dropped plot lines in Vanquish.
Do you want one?
Yeah.
Do you? I don't want it. I don't want shit. I want Sam.
Oh.
I want Sam fell into a portal.
I have one last one. In Evil Within 2, there is a monster that will try and attack you, and it will drag you to a series of levels that take place inside your memories of Evil Within 1.
Oh,
and as
strong.
such, they're letterboxed.
Strong. Very strong. Fuck yeah, video games. Absolutely.
Right? Isn't that fun?
Shit that only video games can do, man. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, like, oh god, Nier Automata as a staging ground for that with the hacking mechanic, you know, takes you to some fucking awesome places, man. Yeah. Only video games can do that type of stuff. It's really satisfying to see these moments.
I also remember a different one.
Okay.
Which was always fun, and this is from like '94. If you put like Doom cheats into Heretic, you often just die.
Because you're a goddamn heretic.
Yeah. And also, I think they were made by different companies. I'm not super sure though.
Nice. Hey, Megafang, good question.